Hey folks, back again for yet another video. I'm going to have quite a few of these today in the same place, wearing the same things, recorded at the same time. At number 12, and I can't believe I'm at number 12 on this list. I've chosen, I can't remember if this is 1977 or 1978. I might get the dates between this and Flute mixed up, but it's either 77 or 78. It was his novel The Spear, which surprisingly enough has landed at number 12 on this list. Didn't expect this book to chart so high. But on reread, yeah, I quite like this one. This is not altogether horror. It's a book that fuses horror with history, and it sees effectively, and so other people have mentioned this. I think it's very close to the truth. It fuses a guy who reminds me a lot of Morse. The Inspector Morse character, basically uncovering this conspiracy involving the Nazis, who wants to find and locate the spear that pierced Jesus' side during the crucifixion, because they believe it will give them occult powers that involve resurrecting a very well-known sort of Nazi war criminal, and unleashing effectively the undead on the world. It's a plot that kind of feels like a modern day, or at least a more modern day version of sort of like the Indiana Jones stories, if Indiana Jones was set in the 70s and not in like the 30s and things. And I really enjoy this one. I know that a lot of people don't, because it is a bit clunky in execution and it's not his best written story. But there's something about this that I find quite fascinating and dark, and it's got a genuine sense of menace and peril about it, as well as the fact that I think Herbert just wrote, considering this was written in the 70s and set predominantly sort of in the now, it just feels, I'm sure it's written set in the 70s. Might not be, but it definitely feels, like that sort of what I'm trying to say is it feels more contemporary. It feels more how Herbert was writing anyway. It's got a lot of parallels with 48, which I sometimes get the two confused. Especially when you've been reading one author and you read a lot of his work in succession. 48 and The Spear, a lot of people still confuse. But the bottom line is that they are very different books. 48 was about a plague that Hitler unleashed, which was like a blood plague, whereas this is about obviously the occult. So this is more of zombies basically, is what I'm trying to say, and it's very, very early. But yeah, I quite enjoyed it. I thought it was dark and menacing. It isn't entirely horror, so to speak, but it is a well written and fun romp. And I don't think this hits the heights of some of the other books that I've talked about. It doesn't have anything that I think is up there with the best of those other books, but at the same time it doesn't have their major flaws. It doesn't have any of the lows, which is why this ends up higher on the list. It's a more consistent read. It doesn't have the big surprises or the greatness of some of his other books, but it also doesn't have any of the things that I don't like about them. So it's just a very consistent, short, fast-paced read, which I personally enjoyed. Your mileage of this will vary depending on how you feel about history and the Nazis and zombies and all that. But if you're into that sort of stuff, you'll enjoy it. And I personally just really liked it. So again, it's a short one. I don't really have much to say about it. I'm going to put The Spear at number 12. I think it's an underrated book, and I like it a lot more than most people.